So Moses is the prophet that received the revelation of the Torah and the Ten Commandments. Now, Moses doesn't specifically talk about anything regarding Islamic eschatology. We get most of our eschatology from the Prophet Muhammad, and there are a lot of similarities between Christianity and Islam in terms of our eschatology. We also believe that there's an Antichrist and that Jesus will also come back and that Jesus is a Messiah. We just don't believe that he's the Son of God and that he's divine, just that he's a man and he's a prophet. And that he will come back in the latter days to fight the Antichrist. That's the normative Islamic narrative. Now, there are a bunch of signs. I actually listed them out. I can read them out to you. There are minor signs and major signs, and a lot of the minor signs have actually passed. And if I can just get it on a bigger screen here. For example, the sending of the Prophet Muhammad, the death of the Prophet Muhammad, the appearance of the fire, which actually did occur in the Hijaz, which appeared in the mid 7th century. Then they had the splitting of the moon, a form of death which will kill thousands of Muslims, which was the plague that occurred. A major fighting in Medina, understood to be the Battle of Al-Hara during the Caliphate of Yazid. The Muslim conquest of Jerusalem, which happened, the Muslim conquest of Constantinople. Two large groups of Muslims will fight in a war that did happen, a war between the Muslims and a reddish people, basically considered the Turkish people or Turks. A peace agreement between the Muslims and non-Muslims from the yellow race, understood to be the Chinese and Mongols. 30 liars will appear, each thinking he is a prophet. The spread of literacy, musical instruments will become prevalent. The abandonment of jizya, of which dhimmis stop submitting and refuse to pay the tax. The slave woman will give birth to her master and mistress. A trial which will enter every household, i.e., the TV screen, and essentially knowledge will be taken away by the death of people of knowledge, and ignorance will prevail. That's definitely occurred now. A man will pass by the grave of another in which he was in the latter's place. That's occurred. Tribulations will prevail. Definitely happening. Trustworthiness will be lost. I don't need to explain that. People will gather for prayer but will be unable to find somebody to lead the prayer. That's happened. Commerce and business will increase significantly until a woman assists her husband. Feminism. Earthquakes will have increased a lot. Adultery will become widespread. Adultery has become widespread. Wine will be drunk in great quantities. Wine is now drunk in great quantities. Arabia will become a land of gardens and rivers. It's slowly actually happening if you check into the geography of Arabia. A woman will go on the pilgrimage without other women but unaccompanied by a man. That is happening. Widespread wealth and lack of need for charity. That is, to a semblance, has happened. The emergence of claimants to prophethood, such as a liar. Yeah, they have some examples. Killing will become widespread. Clearly happened. Appearance of women who are clothed yet naked just walk outside your house. Go to the beach. Wild animals and
I'm
inanimate
sorry.
No worries. Wild animals and inanimate objects will speak to people. Well, the inanimate objects portion has happened. Wild animals, not yet to say. A man will disobey his mother and obey his wife while shunning his father and speaking kindly to his friends. Need I say less? There will be complete sexual indecency. I don't know what this one is. The double will be found by the archaeologists. Time will pass more quickly. Time is passing more quickly. Now, these are a bit more crazier ones. Naked, destitute, barefoot shepherds will compete in the building of tall buildings. Just look at Arabia and compare the what's happening between the building of towers in Arabia and Dubai. Those were barefooted, destitute Bedouins who began building tall towers in competition with each other. This one will hit home for all three of us actually. Abundance of police squads and oppressive officials who wield whips the size of the tails of cattle. This has basically happened. The decoration of mosques is a matter of pride and competition. The building of very tall buildings yet again has happened. Closeness between markets, when markets affect each other's trading. The rise of adultery in the community, when idols are worshipped and graves are made into sanctuaries and shrines. That has 100% happened. When you see a YouTube influencer or celebrity, what do you call them? You call them idol. This is my idol. Beyonce. This is my idol. Whoever so. The emergence of indecency and enmity among relatives and neighbors. So basically, love thy neighbor does no longer exist. So that commandment's not followed. Imitation of the young by the old. So old people are acting like young people. Scroll through TikTok and you can clearly see that. Prevalence of avarice, greed, and covetousness. So yeah, that's happened. Pervasiveness of trade and wealth gained from trade. Frequent occurrences of disgrace, distortion, and defamation. Just look at the influencer sphere. Everybody's defaming, distorting people's images, and disgracing them without actually doing any information. Seeking knowledge from minors. That has happened. What are YouTubers? Basically, minors pretending like they know what they're doing. Frequent occurrences of sudden and unexpected death. A lot of recent celebrities have just unexpectedly died. Not being in standoffishness among people. You walk down Toronto, New York, California, people are very standoffish. And they have one talking about cell phones. By the one in whose hand is my soul, the hour will not be established until predators speak to people, until the tip of a man's whip and the straps on his sandals speak to him, and his thigh informs him of what occurred with his family after him. And then the other is people among my nation will drink wine, calling it by another name. You have multiple different names for alcohol now. You have gin, spirit, beer, whatsoever. And musical instruments will be played on their heads, i.e., earphones, and singers will sing for them. God will cause the earth to swallow them up. Yeah, so that's basically just a punishment for them. But yes, those are all the signs, minor signs that have occurred and are occurring currently. There are other major signs, in particular, the coming of the Antichrist, the coming of somebody called Imam al-Mahdi, which has resulted in a differential opinion between Shia and Sunni, and there's the returning of the beast of the earth. But these are all based on hadith. I know there's certain factions in Islam, i.e., the hadith rejectors, that don't necessarily agree with this stuff, but and there's always other groups that are saying this is not going to happen, that it's not going to happen. There's a lot of variety of thought in Islam, to say the least, but
Very
yeah.
interesting.